1, 2, 3, let's go.
Wednesday afternoon, hoping you will tune into our show. It's
some reason.
NFL, isn't it? Yeah, National Football League. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never understood that anyway. But yeah, so it's called football. Now, how's that different from rugby? How's the injuries that you're likely to sustain from that different from the injuries that you sustain from rugby? Is it because they wear a helmet? Does that not make it more dangerous if somebody hits you with a helmet on your spine? Could that not be classed as a very career-defining moment? Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It does have its great dangers, but they are quite well protected. As you say, they wear a helmet, which is protective rather than normally hurting somebody else, though it could do, I guess. And of course, they wear these great big shoulder pads to build themselves up. So they are well protective, like with a bit of armor. So I think that stops a lot of potential injuries. But again, when they, crash into each other to force the ball, etc., then yeah, there's going to be some dangers in that. Again, whether we would call it extreme is another question, I guess.
All right.
I mean, I think you could argue that any form of contact sport with one person coming into any kind of physical contact with another person, then, I think you could conclude it could be a dangerous sport. I mean, figure skating, for example, you've got two people that are doing a dance routine on ice. However, if your choreography is not correct or your timing isn't correct, somebody could get the sharp end of your ice skate, for example. I mean, I wouldn't conclude that figure skating itself is particularly dangerous. However, there are still many risk factors to it.
Yeah. So I suppose that then brings up another question then. What would we define? It wouldn't be the general definition anyway, because a lot of people would have different opinions on different sports, won't they? But what would we define as extreme sports? What would we define as being extreme?
Well, I would, again, maybe the word sports isn't always relevant, but an extreme activity would be what they call highlining, which is the Highwire. Now, just as a brief example of that, there's a Frenchman, he's still alive. I think his name is Philippe, Petit, something like that. And he climbed years ago in the early 70s. He climbed Notre Dame Cathedral on a high wire.
Right.
He also climbed between the pillars of Sydney Opera House.
Right.
And in 1974, he climbed sorry, I'm using the wrong word. He had a high wire across these structures. And in 1974, he did a high wire walk across the Twin Towers. They'd just been completed in America, in New York. And it was quite something, because the whole point of it being extreme is he uses absolutely zero safety equipment. So, long story short, on the Twin Towers, he did a sort of a reconnoiter beforehand with his people helping him. They managed to find somebody with an office right at the top of one of the Twin Towers. Yeah. So he was very much in on it. And a few days before, they did a helicopter go around to see what was what up there. Well, the day came, it was all obviously top secret, as it was highly illegal. And through the night, they
the leader of our gang will make the show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything cast us. And fund the aim of everything cast us.
And a few days before, they did a helicopter go around to see what was what up there. Well, the day came, it was all obviously top secret, as it was highly illegal. And through the night, they worked. They got up through this man's office to the top. They fired an arrow across to people at the top of the other building. They got a similar arrangement with somebody at the top. And they attached a fishing wire to the arrow. They then managed to pull the rope from this fishing wire right across between the two, and that the distance between them on this high wire, which of course had to be tensioned exactly right, was 130 feet between the two twin towers. Now, I guess what's that, about 45 yards? If you think of a football pitch, about 100 yards. So it's just less than half a football pitch. So on a high wire, going across between those two buildings, I think would be extreme. And the morning they finished the preparations, he started at 7 o'clock in the morning, and quite quickly a crowd grew down on the ground. He did, I think, eight crosses. I think he claimed he did, and he was seen doing it in about 45 minutes. But with crowds of people, he actually embellished it all by, first of all, sitting on the wire, and then lying on the wire, and then successfully standing up and completing the walk. Now, for most mortal human beings like us, the idea of being able to do that in the first place, you get the breeze, the wind going across, so you've got to take that into account. And actually sitting on the wire and laying down on it is just something superhuman. Anyway, at the end of it all, he was arrested, inevitably. They took him, first of all, to a mental hospital, but he was deemed to be quite sane. And I think probably we would say he's got to be a bit nuts to do something like that, but he wasn't technically mentally ill. So they then charged him with trespass, but the judge eventually said, well, we'll drop the charges if you can give a display of your talents to children in Central Park, which he did. And so he got away with it there. But he's climbed, he high-wired many, many buildings, and he actually joined Barnum's Circus. He had a fall, quite a serious fall, and left them. And I think today he's probably about 76, 77, and still doing some high-wire walk. There's a couple of very good movies on this. Man on Wire, 2008, and The Walk in 2015. And they just were, I saw them a couple of years ago, and they're worth watching, particularly the last one, because it just chronicles the preparation and walking across, and it really gets to you what a risk this man is taking. Sometimes they do fall. That's the sad reality of it.
Yeah.
But not a particularly safe or sensible thing to do. Some people seem to have extraordinary talents, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, parkour would be another one.
Yeah. What did you say, Danny?
Parkour would be another one. That's where people run about on buildings and upstairs and walls and do
right.
Yeah,
backflips
absolutely.
and stuff.
Yeah.
They do that on rooftops as well, don't they? So
They do.
Of our gang will make the show go with a bang and fund the aim of everything casters and fund the aim of everything casters.